Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for our new episode of the Aquariums Online Academy. My name is Kaya, and I'm coming to you live from the Aquarium of the Pacific. And I am so excited because this morning we get to talk all about everybody's favorite type of animal, or at least I know they're my favorite type of animal, baby animals here at the aquarium. Woo! So I would love for you to participate while you are watching. You can do this in a few different ways. You can text questions to 562-286-1838. And I would also love to hear from you if you think the animal we're looking at is really cute, or maybe at the end you can tell me which one you think your favorite one is. But if you're watching this after we're live, that's okay too. You can email us at live@lbaop.org and we will get back to you. I'm not alone in the studio here. I have Jen, who is so ready to take your questions, comments, and observations and share them with me. And then I have James, who is controlling all of the amazing things that you see behind me. And with that, let us go ahead and get started. So I'm in front of our live webcam looking at our shark lagoon right now, and we can see some great sharks swimming around. I think our turtle was out earlier. Oh, he is? Okay, wait. I'll show you the turtle really quickly. He's sleeping right there. He is getting ready to come out and say hello to you and greet you before we take a look at some baby animals this morning. Oh, coming out to say hello. Where's this? Oh, and the zebra shark I see right over here is like hiding there. It's just nap time. Everybody's still waking up this morning. But my friends, we are not here to talk about these sharks as adults, which we have spent a lot of time doing during these programs. We are going to take a look at some baby sharks first, which is personally one of my favorite types of baby animals that we're going to be looking at, and one that we happen to have a number of here at the aquarium. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first baby animal, everybody. Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. We have to say hi to this turtle. This turtle just has to join the program. He's saying good morning, welcome, getting some air, getting ready to go take a nap again. I wish we had some baby turtles here at the aquarium. I think everybody would really love that. But alas, right now we don't have any baby turtles. Oh, my friends, look at this little friend. Oh, look at this little baby shark. Oh my goodness. Now, what kind of shark is this? So this, everybody, is a brown banded bamboo shark. I'm going to step all the way off here so you can take a look at it, make some observations. What do we notice? So we can see that it gets its name from these bands that we see here, these nice little stripes, giving it a nice pattern. But this baby bamboo shark is going to change a little bit as it gets older. If you have been to our aquarium and have had a chance to touch our sharks, these are the sharks that you have touched. We have banded bamboo sharks here. But once they're all grown up, they look a little bit different. Their coloration changes over time and they get a little bit lighter. With time. So they do change as they grow. Now this is a baby, like a newborn shark is what I'm trying to say here. So how big is it when they are born? They are about 6 inches when they hatch out of their eggs. Here, I'll come over here and jump on screen again. So sharks are pretty unique in that they can reproduce in a few different ways. They can reproduce in 3 ways. Pretty amazing for an animal or animals in general, right? So they do lay eggs, which is how this bamboo shark was born. So bamboo sharks lay little egg sacs, little egg cases that gestate for a few months before the babies come out. But some sharks can also give live birth, which is typically what we think of when we think of mammals giving live birth or giving birth. But sharks also do that. And they have a third way of reproducing, which is where they internalize the eggs and they hatch inside and then come out. So it looks like live birth, but a little bit different. All right, so these bamboo sharks, they lay their eggs or their egg cases, and they lay a few eggs at a time. Now, when they lay them, there's these tendrils that come out that allow them to sort of attach to rocks or coral and keep the babies safe as they develop. Now, these babies, as they're developing, sharks have a ton of really unique senses. And even when they're in those egg cases, they can use them. It has been proven that these little sharks can sense when predators might be around, and they will actually stop their gills from moving to stay totally still to help protect them from something that is trying to eat them, which is pretty amazing for a tiny little creature that hasn't even hatched yet. Now, I do see we have some questions that have come in already, so I'll take a moment to answer those before we take a look at our next baby here. We have lots to look at, so I hope you're as excited as me. So somebody is wondering, are there going to be any baby otters? And on this program, we are not going to be looking at baby otters, but we will be looking at some other babies, lots of them, and maybe in future programs, we'll take a look at some baby otters. So don't you worry, so many babies to get through. If we don't get to it today, then future programs are coming. Oh, and how old is the sea turtle? And that's a great question. I think they are about 22 years old, around there, around 20 years old. So we have had them since they were really young. So we've had them for quite a while. So about 20 years old. And we do have two of them. The one that you saw was in our Shark Lagoon, but our other one is in our tropical reef. They're two males named Theo and Lou. So they came together. If you're able to come at some point and visit us, you can see one of them in Shark Lagoon. Oh, and I have a question. Why do the baby sharks look like a lizard? I love that we're making that comparison between a lizard and a shark, because I can see that here. Maybe we can get the text line out of the way and we could take a look at their fins here. So I think that the reason that they look a lot like a lizard is in this image in particular, it's on the ground, and that's where lizards spend a lot of their time. So these sharks in general are bottom-dwelling sharks, so they'll spend a lot of time at the bottom. They eat things that they find living in the sand. And at this stage in its life, it's so little that its fins haven't fully developed. So as they grow, their fins are going to get a little bit bigger, and then we'll really be able to see that they are actually sharks there once their pectoral fins get a little bigger. Now, speaking of pectoral fins, which is this side fin that we see here, we have another baby shark to take a look at that has really unique pectoral fins. Oh my goodness, look at this little shark. It looks like a little noodle. It's kind of what I think of it. I don't know if you see that with some little fins coming off of it here. Now, my friends, this is another shark that oh, here's a great picture, a little close up. See its little face here, and we can see that its fins are a little bit more developed here. So this is an epaulet shark, which we also have here at the aquarium. They are in our touch lab, but they're a very shy shark, so it's a little bit harder to see them. But they spend a lot of time hiding, but we do have them, and hopefully at some point you'll have an opportunity to touch them as well. Now, the reason that I'm making the comparison between these sharks and a lizard is because they use their fins in a really unique way that we can start to see right here in this picture. So unlike other sharks that only use their pectoral fins to swim and go through the water, they use their pectoral fins to actually walk on the bottom. They do this. And when they're really little, they'll still use them to do that. And so we can see here that that's what it's doing. It's resting on those fins to help it move a little bit. Now, just like the bamboo sharks that we were taking a look at earlier, they also lay egg cases. So they'll lay about 2 at a time. And again, with that fibrous material, both of these sharks are Indo-Pacific. So they live in the tropics in very shallow areas. So because of that, they share a similar habitat. They have some similar breeding patterns as well. And again, they're also about 6 inches when they are born. And both of these sharks will grow very quickly in their first year of life. Oh, I think this is an older shark. I'll move over here. This is an adult. Okay, great. So we can see those fins that are fully developed here. It's hard for me to say because it's all curved, so I can't tell the size in this picture. Epaulet sharks get to be about 2 feet long, whereas bamboo sharks are about 3 feet. So they're both pretty small sharks in general. But again, they grow really quickly in that first year of their life because they do have a number of predators when they're that small. Here's a good look at our bamboo sharks as adults. Remember, I said they lose that coloration, so we can see how much lighter they are than when they are young. And they'll take about 3 to 4 years to grow to maturity. Now, these sharks, when they are born, they are fully independent. They are ready to go. They don't need any parental care while they're young. So as soon as they hatch, they're ready to start eating and living their lives out there. Okay, I see we have a few questions coming in, and I'll answer those before we take a look at one more member of this family. All right, so why do bamboo sharks have black and white patterns when they are babies? And that's a really great question. I'm guessing it has to do with their camouflage. It'll help them blend in a little bit more in their habitat when they're this little. They live in coral reefs, they live in rocky areas, and they also live in mangroves. So I'm guessing that this coloration is a better suited camouflage for that environment. When they get older, they spend a lot of time grouped together, and that's their defense mechanism once they're older, because when they're all piled up on top of each other, like we saw in that other picture, they look like a larger shark. So they'll hopefully sort of fend off any potential predators by looking bigger than they really are. So I see another question. Up to how many do they grow? How many pounds do they grow? Okay, sorry. So how big do they grow? They can be about 5 to 10 pounds. And this is a great image of all of our sharks that we see swimming around here, probably really excited about some food. And we can see that they still do have those stripes. They're just not as distinctive as when they are younger. Now, Sienna and Solomon are wondering, what makes a shark a shark? Great question. We could do a whole class on just this one question. So I'll try to give you a really brief answer. We know a shark is a shark by looking at the different features of its body. So they are a fish. They are a special type of fish. So when we think of a fish, what are some things that make fish fish? Well, they have fins, right? So the fins help them swim. And then they have gills, which allow them to breathe underwater. And sharks have very distinctive gills. They have those slits so we can see them. Other types of fish, they're covered, so it might be harder to see, but they do have gills. And they also have a very special type of skeleton, and this is called cartilage. They are called cartilaginous fish, which is a big word. But we have cartilage too in our bodies. So if you touch your ears or your noses, that's made of cartilage, and you can really feel the difference between the rest of our body. So cartilage is very flexible, it's very light, and that is what sharks and rays have. And so it's a much lighter skeleton than the other types of fish out there. So that is a very condensed answer. I hope that helps you out. But I do want to make sure that we spend some time looking at other baby animals. And one last question about our sharks is, what do they eat when they get bigger? And they are carnivores. So when they're small, they'll eat anything they can find, really. And as they get bigger, they'll start to eat bigger things. So they'll eat things like shrimp or maybe small squids that they can find. They're also good at crushing things. So we feed them things like clam here at the aquarium. So they can crush things that live in shells as long as it's small enough. So again, they eat things that they find at the bottom of the ocean that live in the sand. Amazing questions. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. Now we have one other member of this family of cartilaginous fishes, or elasmobranchs, that I want to take a look at before we move on to some other babies. And this is an example of a animal that gives live birth, like I was mentioning before. So those two other sharks, they lay eggs, and this one is live birth. And that would be our rays, one of our cow-nose rays. Oh, look at this little tiny ray. Now, rays and sharks, when they are young, the name for baby sharks and rays are pups. So this is a little pup here. Now, when they are born, they are about 1 foot long when they're born, and mothers will give birth to about 1 to 2 pups at a time. Oh, it's so cute. Look at its little face here. Now, unlike those sharks, which really spend a lot of time growing in their first year of life, they can take up to 5 to 7 years to be fully grown. But just like those sharks, they are fully sufficient once they're born. Their mothers don't take care of them. They are ready to fend for themselves out there. So just another example of a really cute cartilaginous fish. Oh, here we can see the adults getting fed here at the aquarium. You can see them coming up for their food. So they eat a very similar diet as our bamboo sharks. They'll eat clam and shrimp. You can see, oh, they look so excited. Is that how you felt at breakfast? I know that's how I felt at breakfast this morning. You can really see why they get their name, the cow-nose rays. So they have that name because of their faces. And they have a really unique flap that you can see right here. So I get questions about that all the time. Is that their mouth? And it's actually a unique flap they have to sort of help get food, but their mouths are underneath their bodies there. Okay, so, oh, I have a question from Polly that we can answer while we're taking a look at our Kauno's rays. Are the baby animals in the aquarium all born here or are they rescued? So the ones that I'm featuring today have all been born here. We might have some that we've rescued, but a few of them, some birds, I'm told by my colleagues here, have been rescued. But most of the ones, or at least the ones again that I'm featuring, were all born here. And how big are these shark eggs? Oh, such a good question. I was looking for a shark egg to show for our microscope here, but they're about 5 inches. They're about this big. And you can also see through them. You can really get a good look at what those sharks look like as they're developing inside, which is pretty awesome. Okay, friends, we've got more babies to look at. So I hope you enjoyed looking at some pups with me. And now we're going to take a look at our sea dragons because we also have had some baby sea dragons here before. Oh my goodness, look at this little leafy sea dragon here. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, so what is a sea dragon? Well, as this guy gets even bigger, it is going to look even more. So they're very close relatives of seahorses, and it's going to look even more leafy to help it blend in. Now, you might be familiar with seahorses. The males, the fathers, hold the eggs in their pouches as they develop. Now, sea dragons like this one do something similar. So the fathers will hold onto the eggs, but they don't hold them onto a pouch on their stomachs. Instead, they have a special pouch on their tail where the eggs will incubate. So the eggs will incubate for, oh, here we go. Here's a fully grown one. So we can really see how big they get. They can get to be about 13 inches long. We can see all of those sort of leafy appendages fully developed. But if we go back to that baby, we can see it is just a little slip of a thing still growing. And they are only about 1/2 inch when they are born. So here is a great picture of a newly born one, fresh out of the egg case. And we can see it's got these really tiny little appendages here, which are going to get much bigger. And so this is a very zoomed in picture because this is 2 centimeters. So very, very, very tiny. And they will grow up to 8 inches in their first year of life. So if we think about them getting to be 13 inches when they're fully grown, that means they spend a lot of time growing in that first year. And that is because there's a lot of predators for these tiny little sea dragons. Even adults might eat them, unfortunately. So again, this is another example of an animal that completely fends for themselves as soon as they are hatched. Okay, so I see we have a few more questions have come in. So Solomon is wondering, what do they eat when they get big? I think we might be talking about the sea dragons. So they eat mice and shrimp. They are carnivores, so they'll eat tiny, tiny little plankton that they can fit into their tube. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. We can talk about this anyway. So they have this long tube here, tiny mouth. So they'll eat tiny little plankton that they can eat, and they have to eat constantly because they don't actually have a stomach, which is pretty amazing. So they're always eating, which is sometimes how I feel, but I do have a stomach. Okay. I see. How many live births do rays have at a time? So again, they'll have 1 to 2 pups. And do they have twins? I believe they have been known to have twins, which is pretty cool. And how many times do the baby rays eat? Oh, that's a really good question. So I know we feed our sharks and rays daily. So I imagine that our baby rays will have a similar schedule. So they are fed on a daily schedule, and we do closely monitor how much food they're getting and when, so we can really keep track of their growth and make sure that they are getting all of the nutrition that they need. So great questions. Okay, so we looked at our baby sea dragons. We've looked at our rays. I want to now highlight an animal that you might not be as familiar with here at the aquarium. So we've looked at some fish and sharks, but what about our cephalopods? Is that a big word? Are we familiar with that word? Now, cephalopod is a group of animals that includes our octopus and our squid and our cuttlefish. So this is our flamboyant cuttlefish. And once you watch this little video of them and take a look at these colors, you might have a good idea as to why they are called flamboyant. Oh, look at them. Oh, this is such a great video. We can see one of them swimming around. And then And we can also see a number of them resting here at the bottom, using their little arms to move around. You can see it walking right here. Oh, so cute. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about these flamboyant cuttlefish. So why do they have this name, flamboyant cuttlefish? Any ideas why? Well, their coloration has a lot to do with it. They are really brightly colored. They are bright orange or red, I would say maroon, and there's some yellow in there as well. And the reason they have that coloration is because they are poisonous. They are one of the very few poisonous cephalopods or cuttlefish out there. So again, cuttlefish are related to octopus and squid, and this is only one of the few of them that are poisonous. And they are known as being very sassy. They are a very feisty little cuttlefish. So these are the babies. So they're really, really small, but even when they're fully grown, they only get to be about 2 inches. So they are not a very big cuttlefish in general. So little babies are super small. This is a very zoomed in video of them. But they are not very shy. They are not afraid of predators. So oh, here we go. Here's a great close up of an adult cuttlefish. So we can still see it has that really striking pattern on it as well. But they are known, if something comes up to try and eat them, for chasing it away and getting in its face. So they are not shy and not afraid to let the world know that they are poisonous. So they are pretty feisty little cuttlefish. Amazing. And we have a couple of questions about our sea dragons, which we will get to before taking a look at another baby here. So Elliot from Costa Mesa is wondering, are sea dragons and seahorses from the same family of animals? Great question and observation using what you know already. So yes, they are. They are very close relatives. We can see those similarities when we look at their mouths and heads here, and also kind of the shapes of their bodies. So sea dragons are like very specialized seahorses. I think we actually have, so here's an image of a seahorse, more traditional seahorse, wrapping itself in the leaves here. They have those prehensile tails that they use to curl around the leaves or the grass that they live in. And I think we have a picture of a baby sea dragon or seahorse as well, if we want to take a look and compare the two of those. But yes, Elliot, they are very closely related. Great question. And then Joven is wondering, how long do the eggs take to hatch for the cuttlefish? And this is a good question. I believe it's about 2 months that they lay the eggs, but we might have to get back to you on the specifics on that. I know that they lay, let's see, they lay 25. Oh, here's our baby seahorse. So cute. Already wrapping around the grass there. So again, self-sufficient as soon as they are born. So able to hide here. So again, also looks kind of like that baby sea dragon in that their appendages are also really small. So lots of more growing to do. Okay, but I was talking about the cuttlefish, how long it takes for them to hatch. And I think it's a few months. And I know it's about 25 to 50 eggs at one time. And they will be buried in the sand so that they are safe while they incubate. And then how do sea dragons grow? Well, they have to be able to eat. So eating food and making sure they're staying safe is what allows them to grow. So, you need all of that nutrition to help you. Oh, I'm in the way of our really cute cuttlefish here. Go climbing around the floor. Let's see. So Luna and Aiden are wondering, how long do sea dragons live? And they can live up to 9 years, especially here at an aquarium where they don't have any predators and we are making sure they are well fed throughout their life. And Ethan is wondering, why do cuttlefish look like plants? I can see that. They look like little flowers, right? Like almost like they have little petals all over them. So that is the reason that their arms are shaped that way is because of the way that they are using them to walk. So they will walk on the bottom of the ocean floor. So their arms are specially adapted to move in that way. And then again, they have these really bright colors to warn predators that they are poisonous so that other predators know not to eat them. And then Ella is wondering, what eats cuttlefish? And lots of things would like to eat cuttlefish, especially this size. Not many predators will eat this one though, because they are very, very toxic. But other cuttlefish will have predators such as sharks or large fish like eels, or even some marine mammals will eat them. So cuttlefish do have a number of predators out there. Oh, here's an image or a little video. Okay, so this is a blog of our flamboyant cuttlefish. And I do want to point out, oh, this is great because it shows the scale. So that was this is a very zoomed in image of these cuttlefish. But when we zoomed out there, we could see that they're actually really, really small. Oh, what's it doing? Oh, it got a snack. And we can see that amazing color change that cuttlefish are able to do, just like octopus. And this is perfect. Luna is asking, how do cuttlefish change color? So they have very special skin cells called chromatophores, which is a big word, I know. But basically, these chromatophores, or these skin cells, allow them to change both their color and the texture of their skin. So they open and close them, and that changes their color. And this is the same type of skin cells that octopus and squid have. So cuttlefish are not as, they aren't able to change colors as much as octopus are, I don't believe, but they do. Oh, they can? Okay, I'm mistaken. They can change their skin color just as well as octopus can. Okay. Amazing. I'm learning things too. Okay. Where are the sea dragon's eyes is what Elsie is wondering. So we can go back to that picture and I'll point those eyes out. So if we look here, this is its mouth. So this is its whole head. So its eyes are right there, hiding there a little bit. So a lot of times animals are trying to hide their eyes because they want to keep, that's another camouflage strategy. So if we look at this animal, it really looks like a leaf, right? So having eyes would tell predators that it is not, in fact, a leaf. So that's why their eyes are such good they're camouflaging their eyes so well. All right, I see a question. How old are the little cuttlefish? Oh, those little babies, I think they're a few months old, I think, at this point. They're pretty young. They're pretty young. So they're pretty new to our collection, which is one of the reasons why they're so small still. And they are not a very long-lived species. So they will only live up to, I think, 2 years. So they have a pretty short lifespan in general. Now, we've been talking a lot about this cuttlefish, but there's actually one other type of cuttlefish that I would love to show you before we sign off this morning, because it is another example of a toxic cuttlefish out there, but it is very different than our flamboyant cuttlefish, because instead of trying to scare predators away and really getting in their face, they actually like to hide. And so, oh, do you see it hiding? It's right there, hiding in the gravel. This is our pajama squid. And even though it has the name squid, this is actually a cuttlefish, just like our flamboyant cuttlefish. And it is really nestled there in the gravel. So if we were able to zoom out and see them, it would be like tiny. We would not have an easy time seeing them at all. I have one other picture that shows them to scale, which is they are smaller than a quarter. So we can really see how little they are. And they, again, only get to be about 2 inches. So they are pretty small in general. There we go. So here we see a quarter, and then there's a tiny little pajama squid on there. And again, instead of chasing away predators, they will hide, although they are also poisonous. And they also can color change, just like the flamboyant cuttlefish. Not as colorful, though. They tend to only get a darker purple, but they do change their colors. Okay, I see a few last questions here before we have to go this morning. But thank you so much, everybody, for all of your amazing questions. Maisie is wondering, where is the cuttlefish tongue? Great question. So to answer this, we have to find their mouth first. Which is in between all of their tentacles. So when we saw that video of them grabbing their food using those long tentacles to pull it back into their mouth, so here's their tentacles, and so their mouth is right there in the middle. And I'm actually not sure if they have tongues. They have a beak. So they have a tongue-like sort of feature inside there, but it isn't like a tongue like ours are. But yes, it's right inside all of those tentacles there. They'll reach out to grab their food and suck it right back in. And AJ is wondering if you can have a cuttlefish as a pet. And I am not sure there are any species out there that are able to be pets. That would be something you would have to check. In general, they are difficult to take care of. So, they're very sensitive animals and require really specialized care. So before you decide to embark on that journey, make sure that you are really prepared for it. However, I am glad that you were so inspired by looking at these adorable little cuttlefish that you wanted to bring one home. My friends, I am so excited that we have even more babies to show you next time because we didn't get through all of them today. We have even more. Maybe we'll include otters next time. Thank you so much for watching and for all of your questions. And we do have more programming later today, so I'll hope you tune in to more of the Aquariums Online Academy. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful day.